My name is John Smith, and you are all very welcome to an introduction to coordinate geometry. House rules, folks. Each of the slides will address key skills, teaching methodologies, and activities. When the white circle appears in the bottom corner, it's time for a class discussion. Key skills, teaching methodologies, activities are color-coded and located in the right-hand corner of the screen. Today's intended learning outcomes are an introduction and an understanding of Cartesian format in coordinate geometry. Also, to be able to plot points on a graph using standard procedure and notation, and to be able to find the midpoint, length, and slope of a line segment. So, let's get started. What is coordinate geometry? Coordinate geometry is what links geometry and algebra. Geometry, in how we look at shapes, positions of figures, squares and triangles, and algebra, the language of mathematics. Now, let's take a look at the simple grid system below. Can we determine exactly where the image is using the information provided? Do we use letters, numbers, or a combination of the two? Have a think. Excellent, both. D3. Good job. Now, let's have some fun. Can you think of any games that you may have used coordinate geometry without ever even knowing? I can. Chess, drafts, Donkey Kong, Battleship, all mathematics, and we didn't even know. Now, let's take a look at Cartesian format, made famous by 17th century French mathematician and philosopher René Descartes. Really smart guy, loved maths, pioneered standard notation in geometry, and he was also great friends with the very famous Isaac Newton. Firstly, we have two planes, the x-axis and the y-axis. First, we look at the x-axis, which is along the horizontal. Then we look at the y-axis, which is along the vertical. This all makes perfect sense, but to use this effectively to plot points, we must also number the axis. Let's take point A, coordinates 1 and 2. Look at the x component where x equals 1 along the horizontal axis. Then we look at the y component where y equals 2 along the vertical axis. We take these two pieces of information and we get point A. Now, let's take a look at some examples so you can do some practice. Remember not to forget our Cartesian format, but with x on the horizontal and y on the vertical. It should always be in this sequence, x first, then y. Write down the coordinates for the points labelled below. Now, what do you think we would get if we were to join these 2 points together with a line? That's right, we get a line segment. In pairs, can you think of anything we could do mathematically with this line segment? Now, with that done, over the next few slides we're going to look at what we can do with a line segment. We can find the midpoint, the length or distance between 2 points, or the slope. Can you think of any everyday reasons why we might need to know these things about a line segment? Now, let's take a look at the midpoint of a line segment, which is simply halfway between the 2 points. Take the formula, which is 2 parts, x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Make sure to label your points so you can fill in the formula correctly. Now, I think it's time for you to give this a try. Find the midpoints of the line segment below. Try the following procedure. Write the formula, label your points, and fill in the formula to solve for the midpoint. Now, let's just have a quick recap on what we covered. Remember, Cartesian format, x in the horizontal, y in the vertical. To plot a point, we look at the x component first, then we look at the y component. Remember, when solving for equations, write down the equation, label your points, and fill in. So, the fun doesn't stop here. To continue with Coordinate Geometry Part 2, please click the link.
Created using Powtoon.